Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Hello, Blitzers, and welcome back to another episode of the Buckeye Blitz podcast. I'm your host, Chad Stryker. Thanks for taking some time today to listen to us. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys had a good weekend. I've been dealing with a little bit of a sinus infection, so I didn't record yesterday. Still was doing some coughing and stuff, so I'm recording today. Welcome. Thanks for taking some time. If you could hit that like button, it definitely helps the algorithm with Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it. So last week, I kind of ended the week on the state of the position and kind of where we were on our Buckeye Friday, and so I'll be taking a look at another state of the position today, the safeties, as we wind down towards spring practice, which is exactly 2 weeks away from today. So we are closing in on that, folks, and I am excited and I'm ready, and it'll be good. Um, the other thing, the spring game is April 15th, which doesn't seem that far away now either, which is good. And I think tickets are still available for that, so take a look at OhioStateBuckeyes.com. I think it's through Ticketmaster. They start at about $7. It is a good day. It's a fun day. I always enjoy it. Look forward to it. So that said, I believe the Indiana game is about 192 days away. Right now, again, things have been relatively quiet coming out of Columbus. The winter conditioning is going on, and body by Maradi, and you know, everyone's just kind of in that grind, bulking up, getting better, getting healthier, going through their off-season conditioning. There's been a couple surgeries that have been mentioned, with Emeka Egbuka getting things cleaned up, Trey, and others. So we are rapidly heading towards that spring practice that we're all looking so forward to. I am really sorry. I definitely am a little still trying to recover from my sinuses. So if you hear that, apologies. So the state of the position. We're taking a look at the safeties today. So returning, we have six-year senior Josh Proctor, Cam Martinez, Lathan Ransom, Court Williams, Kai Stokes, Sonny Styles, Jaden Bonsu, an incoming freshman, Malik Hartford, an incoming freshman, and Cedric Hawkins Jr., an incoming freshman. And then in the transfer portal, many people are excited about getting the number one defensive player, Jahard Carter. So let's take a closer look at the room, see what it looks like, how it breaks down. I'm going to base this off what I expect and what I've heard recently in and around other podcasts, other reports, newspapers, et cetera, et cetera. I'll be honest, you may not like what I have to say, and you may not even agree with it, with a lot of what I have to, what I think was going to happen. So maybe mentally prepare yourself. I don't know. But here we go. And speaking of not agreeing with me, the first run right off the top. Who I think will start in this Jim Knowles safety-driven defense. Number one, first and foremost, Lathan Ransom. I know all of us have a memory of him falling and slipping in the Peach Bowl, but I'm telling you right here and right now, that's on the coaching staff. 100%. That is not on Ransom. If you want me to like remind you of something, do you remember how dominant we were against Don Brown and his crazy blitz schemes, and how Ohio State exploited them and when he was coaching for that team up north? Um, you can't, in that situation, ask your safeties to play man coverage in a zero coverage scheme in a game of that magnitude, with a skill that he can do, but that's asking a lot. So I'm putting that on the coaches, not on Lathan Ransom falling down. It sucked, but it happened. It is. I said what I said. So that said, Ransom played really well through most of the year, right up until like the Michigan game, really, and then the Peach Bowl. So I think he plays aggressive. He plays fast. He comes downhill. He hits you. He can cover. He'll be back in the starting lineup. He's talented. I truly like what Latham Ransom brings, and he adds an extra element, even especially on the punt block team. So I do think, I expect him to be starting. Secondly, Jahad Carter, the transfer from Syracuse. He is a senior. He can take a COVID year next year if he doesn't move on to the NFL. All signs point to Carter being an elite talent. He can play the nickel. He can cover. He could play the boundary. I don't think OSU just brought him in to bring somebody in. They brought him in to start. I want to see what he looks like in the spring, but so far what I've seen on tape, the things that have been shared, Tony Gerdeman did a good job putting some things on Twitter, some clips on Twitter of games that he's played. He played in Syracuse for Syracuse last year, so he definitely looks like a all around starting caliber safety for Ohio State. Next up on my list, I have Sonny freaking Styles. He reclassified last year and became a freshman. Saw the field against Georgia. He's an elite talent. He'll see the field plenty. I expect him to play early and often and be one of the probably starting safeties on this defense. I'm going to add this caveat, and the reason I said probably starting safety is that I could see him, and I would not be shocked, even in the slightest, to see him get some reps and split reps with perhaps CJ Hicks at the jack position, or Leo, or whatever they're going to call it. I'm just saying, or maybe wishing, but it wouldn't surprise me. Styles is that talented, so I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if he played multiple positions. I want to add this. So my fear of that, my concern around doing that, and I know I'm wishing it kind of into existence to see him blitzing off the edge, but it really messed with Jack Sawyer's ability to just be a true edge rusher. So if they do this, I want him to be in that position, whether that's like the hybrid linebacker position and he moves from safety to hybrid linebacker, whatever it is. I want him to stick with that, and that just be it. I don't, the back and forth kind of concerns me. So, but Styles, an elite athlete, elite talent. He's going to see the field. He's going to be great. So next up, might surprise you, Kai Stokes. He was injured late in the year last year on special teams, but he's a freak athlete. I think he'll see some reps, especially depending on what they do with Sonny Styles. He will factor into the rotation this year. He needs to see the field. We need to have him ready for next year, if nothing else. So I'm talking 2024. He's going to need to get some reps. I know that rotating on defense is frustrating, but I do think that you're going to have some games early in the season too where they could get him on the field and he can get live game reps, and it'll help. So he could play a variety of positions. I think that gosh, he's quick, he's talented, and he'll hit you. So I like Kai Stokes. Now this is where things got a little tricky for me. So I did 5A, B, and C. I have Cam Martinez, Josh Proctor, and Court Williams. They've all been around. I feel as though we kind of know. Well, I know what we have in Josh Proctor. I think all of us can agree on that. I think we kind of know what we have in Cam Martinez, but he's kind of been a little bit all over the place, and then Court Williams. So for Proctor, I'm truthfully not sure why he returned. I don't know how he sees the field very much, unless Knowles can get something out of him that we haven't yet seen. Like if there's another level to Josh Proctor. We know all the physical attributes are there, all the measurables are there, the talent is there. He's not afraid to hit you. I don't know if you guys remember that Wisconsin game a few years ago where he just straight out laid out their quarterback at the end of the game. I thought we were going to get a targeting penalty. But from what I understand and what I've heard and in and around the program, it's focus for him. Like it's just being focused and being there when you need to be there, as far as in team meetings, understanding the defense, understanding your role. Um, it just seems like, and I don't question effort. This isn't an effort question. It just seems to always been a focus thing with him. And then if you listen to other folks in and around the program and podcasts and such, that tracks. It's all right there. Cam Martinez is a strange thing. I really thought he was going to come in. They pulled him out of Michigan. I really thought he was going to come in and make a difference. He was a two-way player in high school. He's got a lot of talent. I'm curious, and I kind of wonder if playing on offense and defense didn't stunt his develop a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. I will say this: I hope he breaks out, and I hope he just blows everyone away in spring ball and fall camp. If not, and he's going to be buried in his depth chart, I think he'll hit the transfer portal. He's got a ton of talent. I actually think he could do some help in a return game too. He's had some crazy kick returns in high school, but that's where I stand with that. I really I like him. I like Cam Martinez. I want him to succeed. And same with Josh Proctor. I want him to succeed. I don't know how that happens for Proctor this year, and I hope Cam just blows everybody away. Court Williams, he was a linebacker in high school, so that's some of why we haven't seen that much of him. He'll be headed into his redshirt sophomore year. He was a high 4-star out of California. I also think he might be a candidate, for that Leo position. I know that Jim Knowles had said that we probably won't see that come from the linebackers, but he didn't say anything about the safeties. So, Court Williams could fit that bill. And incoming true freshman this year, Jaden Bonsu, freshman 3-star out of New Jersey. He's a ball hawk. He's a straight out ball hawk. I like him. I actually think the 3-star was a little bit low. If he played in Georgia or Alabama or Florida or Texas, he'd be a 4-star. It's just, he's out of New Jersey. So I think that he's going to you'll see him on special teams this year. I think he has some growth and development to do, like most freshmen. I don't think he's going to be, one of those Malik Hooker type situations, but I do think that next year you will see him involved. Next up on the list, Malik Hartford, freshman, very high 4-star, out of Florida, out of Ohio. And I can tell you right now, sure as I'm sitting here, he would have been a 5-star if Ohio had spring football. If he'd have played somewhere in the South, same thing as Jaden Bonsu. If he'd have played somewhere in the South, very, very real possibility that he would have been a 5-star. So I'm going to say this like this. You can inscribe the franchise on the bottom of his cleats. This kid is 6'3". He's out of Lakota West here in Ohio. He was a must-get for Ohio State. He will be a starter next year, and I expect him to probably get some run this year, especially late in games and then maybe later in the season and special teams. When you think of former Ohio State safeties, he would remind you of, I was trying to think of a really good comparison. Maybe Mike Doss would be a good one. And then Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker would be a better comparison. So, yes, just he'll be a great player. And then the other incoming freshman, I'm excited about this kid, Cedric Hawkins Jr. I don't know that he got a lot of the pub and billing that some of the other kids did this year, and I'm excited about his upside. I think he needs some time in the program. He came in and he's listed at about 175 pounds, which is light at the safety position. He's a 4-star. He'll stick it to you. He's not afraid to stick his head in there and hit you. I think he does need to bulk up. I think he needs to spend some time with Mickey Marotti. And I think that they got themselves a player there in Seth Hawkins Jr. So welcome to the team, those three. That's a lot of depth. A lot can change, but Perry Aliano and Coach Knowles have depth and talent in that room for this safety-driven defense. I don't want to hear anything about the talent because there's talent in that room. I hope it all comes to fruition. It better be better than last year, because if not, I have a feeling that Coach Knowles is going to be on the hot seat. We need to get back to BIA. We need to get back to being best in America. And speaking of BIA, I'll finish up on Friday with the defense, talking about our cornerbacks in the state of the position for our corners. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm very excited to discuss that, especially with Igmanosin coming in and a couple of those true freshmen as well. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a fantastic day. Remember, if you have questions, you can submit them on our website. That is the BuckeyeBlitz.GoDaddySites.com. I'll drop that in the description. Until next time, see ya, and go Bucks.